Is there actually a full routine for starting gymnastic ring training? I mean, one that goes over the full week of training, exercise tips, and how to even set these rings up. It does now. Stay tuned because this is the only video you will ever need to start your gymnastic ring training. Starting with Chapter 0. What are gymnastic rings? Gymnastic rings are recognized mostly for their place in Olympic events. They are usually made out of wood, and the objective is to keep the rings as still as possible as you go through the motions of your exercises. It may look simple and easy to the untrained eye, but anybody that has tried gymnastic rings knows that they are no joke. Moving on to Chapter 1. Why should you use rings? First is that they're inexpensive, usually costing around $20 to $30. They're pretty easy to set up. You can set them up pretty much anywhere inside or outside as long as you have a stable structure. They're different from the TRX bands you find at your local gym because those usually have one point that they converge at. But the gymnastic rings can be set at various lengths depending on your skill level. One of the main reasons that gymnastic ring training is so effective is because of the constant core workout that it delivers. Let me show you what I mean by example. As I set up here in the support hold, you can see I'm fighting against the instability of the rings, trying to keep them in place. This is difficult when you're first starting out, but it's actually safer for your joints. Think about the conventional dip bar. Although this is easier for beginners, the fixed nature of the solid bar means your joints have to follow and adapt to that position. Unfortunately, generic dip stations don't account for differences in shoulder width and size. Gymnastic rings, however, are much more versatile. You can easily move the straps so that the rings fit your physique and not the other way around. Also, the rings can move freely 360 degrees. This means that they can rotate throughout the course of the exercise, allowing free joint movement. Moving on to Chapter 2. How do you set up your rings? When you first get your rings, they'll come with 2 straps and 2 rings. Undo the circular straps and you'll see there's 2 sides, one with a buckle and one with a strap. This buckle has 2 sides to it, and I want you to find the side that clicks, like so. Once you locate the side that clicks, keep it facing towards you and toss it over the bar. This means the side that doesn't click should be facing you now. Now's the perfect time to grab one of your rings and make sure you wrap the buckle under the ring, like so. Pull the buckle through and find the other end of the strap with your opposite hand. It's okay if the ring hits the ground, you just want to make sure you have the buckle in hand. Take the opposite end of the strap. Click down on that buckle and nestle it through. Once you have that strap in, all you have to do is pull it through and find the right height for you to get your workout started. And once you find the right height and optimal setting for your workout, you want to throw the buckle and the leftover strap back over the bar. Moving on to Chapter 3. Proper prerequisites for starting. If you're starting from 0, here's a workout you can do to get to the proper level. Monday is your pull-up progression focus. We're going to start out with bodyweight rows. Make sure you keep your core and glutes activated to keep that straight line. Pull up to the top of the rep, making sure to retract your shoulders at the top of the rep and then fall down into a smooth protraction at the bottom of the rep. This is the proper bodyweight row. These are one of my favorite back building exercises, especially if you don't have much equipment. You could even use 2 chairs or a table. Next up is going to be eccentric pull-ups. So basically we're only going to be working the negative portion of the rep. Use a block or bench to jump up to the top of the bar and lower yourself controlled for at least 4 to 6 seconds to be considered a valid rep. Following this is going to be push-ups with strict form. As you can see, I'm keeping that straight line, which means my core is completely engaged, and I'm retracting my scapula at the bottom of the rep and I'm protracting my scapula at the top of the rep. And next up, we're going to be doing assisted dips. You can do this on a dip machine, or if you have a resistance band, that's even better. Just making sure you're pausing at the bottom of the rep because that's where you're going to see most of your muscle activation. And the last exercise for this Monday workout is going to be bodyweight squats. 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Making sure to keep our chest up and out, knees pointed out, and focusing on that form, pushing through the heels through every rep. Next up is Wednesday, push-up and dip progression focus. Starting this workout with classic push-ups with strict form. Moving next to eccentric dips, again jumping up to the top of the rep and making sure to decline for at least 4 to 6 seconds to be declared a valid eccentric rep. Don't sleep on eccentrics, you're going to gain some serious strength here. Following that's going to be assisted pull-ups. If you have a pull-up machine that you can use, even better, but if not, a resistance band works just as well. 3 sets of 3 to 5 reps. Next up is going to be hollow body holds, making sure to keep our lower back pressed into the ground, raising our feet and shoulders off the ground, thus activating our core muscles. Finishing up Wednesday with lunges, making sure to do 8 to 10 reps each leg. Yes, each leg. You also don't want to collapse into this. Go slowly. And Friday is for full body strength. Let's get to it. Starting us off with the anti-extension hollow body hold. After this, we'll move into the almighty bodyweight rows, progressing forward into the strict push-up. Following this up, we're going to do eccentric pull-ups once again, making sure to have that smooth and controlled lowering portion of the rep. Again, the target here is you want to lower for at least 4 to 6 seconds to be considered a valid rep. Don't be afraid to add resistance bands if needed. And finally, ending Friday's workout with bodyweight squats. Try doing this workout for at least 3 months before proceeding. Now finally, moving on to chapter 4, the workout plan. No better way to kick it off than starting with Monday's push day. Starting this workout how every workout should be started, with core and joint prep. Doing hollow body holds, and then we're going to move into something called scapular push-ups, keeping straight arms and going from a smooth retraction to protraction. Now let's start warming up. Doing one set of arm circles, and then we're going to quickly move into high knees for one set of 60 seconds. For our last warm-up exercise, don't forget to turn your hands slightly outwards for the pseudo-plancholine. Now let's finally get on the rings. The first exercise is ring support holds. Take note of my hollow body position and how I have my hands turned all the way outwards. That outward wrist position is key for establishing full range of motion, and we're going to use that in all of our pushing movements, especially when it comes to ring dips. Turning the rings outwards at the top of the rep has a positive influence on your biceps and rotator cuffs, so something you shouldn't avoid. Next up is going to be ring push-ups, and just like we talked about with the dips, turning your hands outwards at the top is going to be key here. Ring push-ups are honestly one of my favorites, because you get an insane pump in your chest and arms from the movement, and there's an opportunity to increase the range of motion. Moving forward to tricep extensions, we're going to start on our knees and lean forward into this movement. It's really important you keep your core engaged throughout this exercise. If you end up forgetting about your core, you won't be able to control your body, much less the rings. Next up is going to be ring rollouts, and you should recognize the form from this exercise. It's extremely similar to you having an ab roller. Again, we're going to do this on our knees and make sure we squeeze our core and keep a stable posture throughout the duration of this exercise. Are you understanding how versatile of an equipment that rings are? And the perfect way to end a push day is to do a wall handstand, making sure to point our toes and push through our ears. Next up, we have Tuesday, pull day. Again, starting off this beautiful workout with some core and joint prep, making sure to do the cat and cow pose. If you have any sort of experience with yoga, then you know exactly what's going on here. Following that, we're going to do the bird dog pose, using opposite arms and opposite legs and crunching at the top. And of course, make sure you do this for both sides. Next up, if you have a bar or some kind of shirt or towel, and pull the slack and hold that behind your body for this. And next up, going to be bar pass-throughs. Again, use a shirt or towel with no slack in between if you don't have a bar to use. As we move into the warm-up, we're going to be doing something called Supermans, making sure to lay on our stomach and engage our core and lift our hands and legs at the exact same time. Keeping that same position, we're going to do reverse snow angels, making sure to keep straight arms throughout the entire time. Almost done here. Keeping that same position, we're going to do something called a cobra push-up, making sure to not squeeze our glutes at the top. And finally, our last warm-up exercise is going to be reverse planks. It really should be called dynamic reverse planks, since we're constantly moving through the movement. Make sure when you swing to the bottom of the rep, your butt does not touch. Now we're into the strength training portion. We're going to do ring support holds for one set of 30 seconds to pop it off. Following this, we're going to do ring pull-ups for 3 sets of 5 reps, and you'll definitely feel how naturally your body moves through the movement. Next up is going to be ring bodyweight rows. Again, we want to keep a stable posture, making sure we keep our core engaged throughout this. And if you want to level up this exercise, you can simply stick your feet out, and it's going to be more of your body weight that you're pulling up. Likewise with the next exercise, we're going to be doing ring bodyweight curls. I want you to think about curling your elbows towards your temples. And again, keep your core engaged in that stable posture. And if you want to level up this exercise even further, again with the bodyweight rows, just keep your feet out. This next one's no joke. It's called the ring front lever raise. You're going to keep straight arms and you're going to keep your knees glued to your chest basically, and raise yourself into the sky and lower yourself down gently. And following this, we're going to take it one step further into what we call skin the cats. We're basically going to go all the way into a reverse grip, or called a German hang, and come all the way back into that neutral position. If you didn't have superhuman shoulders before, I guarantee you, after a few weeks of doing skin the cats, you'll be a whole new person. And again, my favorite way to end a workout, the wall handstand for 3 sets of 15 seconds, making sure everything's in line. Moving on to Wednesday, almighty leg day. The first workout is called anterior tibialis raises. We're going to keep our back pressed into the wall, walk our feet a couple of spaces forward, and we're going to begin to lift our toes off to the ground and raise them towards us, and gently press them down. If you've never tried this, I want you to do one set of 25 reps before every single one of your leg days, and I'll check back with you in a couple of weeks. And if you tell me that you don't have superhuman knees, then I don't know what to tell you. Seriously, this exercise is goated. Following this exercise is going to be glute bridges. If you've never done glute bridges, it definitely feels a little uncomfortable, but I want you to make sure your butt does not touch the ground at the bottom of the rep. Just keep that constant core in tension. Not only will you feel it in your glutes, you'll also feel a little bit of it in your hamstrings as well. And for our next warm-up exercise, it's going to be the typewriter squat. If you've heard of archer squats, these are kind of similar. We're just going to transition from side to side, and we're going to do this for one set of 30 seconds. You'll feel it. And my perfect way to end a warm-up is going to be the exercise bike for one set of 5 minutes. But if you don't have an exercise bike, you can do skipping in place, high knees, or do some kind of jump roping as well. Anything works. First exercise on leg day is going to be the hanging leg curl. If you've never seen this exercise, I know this is a crazy looking thing. A crazy hamstring exercise. Try to keep those heels planted into the box or bench, whatever works for you. And next up, we're going to do assisted reverse Nordics with these rings right here. Doing reverse Nordics freestanding is hard enough, so we're going to use these rings to alleviate some of the stress off of our joints. The higher the rings, the more assistance you have. The lower the rings, the more challenge and more close it is to freestanding, so be wary of that. A great quad builder. Grab the rings again and lean back. We're going to do something called assisted pistol squats. Pistol squats are super difficult on their own, so again, we're going to use these rings to alleviate the stress. Using these rings should definitely help us through the latter half of the movement and get some leg gains. And we can't forget about the plyometrics. We're going to be doing explosive squat jumps using the rings as a stability point. You can't build explosiveness if you never explode. Almost done here. We're going to stick one of our feet inside of the rings and we're going to do Bulgarian split squats. I'm sure you've seen this with a bench, and I just wanted to show you a variation where you didn't need a bench at all. It's a lot more difficult than it looks because of the instability. And again, you'll find us here with the classic ring rollout, simulating that ab roller machine. It's key for your core to have anti-extension and to also compress. That's why we're going to do these compact leg lifts as well. And if doing these freestanding is too much for you, check the regression in the top right. And to finish up this workout, we're going back to the almighty hollow body hold. Next up is Thursday, cardio and mobility day. We can't sleep on cardio, so make sure you get your exercise bike or some form of cardio for 15 to 30 minutes. Moving into our mobility work, we're going to be doing the cat and cow pose, making sure to really feel that movement through the spine. This is just a great exercise and I love how it feels. Keep your stomach on the ground and we're going to get into the cobra pose. Make sure you're not squeezing your glutes at the top. Go ahead and sit back on your heels and reach forward as much as you can for the child's pose. And go ahead and lay back down. We're going to be going into Supermans for that lower back activation. And again, we're going to hit them with the reverse snow angels. Don't give up. We're almost done here. This is a great one, squat to pike. We're basically going to get into our squat formation and then pike, making sure to lean into our hands as much as possible. And the best way to end our mobility day is the world's greatest stretch. Again, do this on both sides. And finally, Friday, full body day. Make sure to warm up however you like based off of what I've shown you. Starting off with the bird dog pose, again extending with opposite limbs and crunching at the top. Do both sides. Following this is going to be back bridge presses, getting into a wheel pose, lowering ourselves down and pushing ourselves back up. You should definitely feel this in your spine. Going back into those ring push-ups on Friday, this is going to be a great chest builder for you. And since the rings are already close to that height, we're going to do ring Bulgarian split squats. Again, 2 sets of 6 reps for each side. Do not forget the other side. Raise those rings up a little more and we're going to be doing ring dips for 3 sets of 6 reps. Again, make sure you turn your rings out at the top. Bring those rings out to hold on to them and we're going to do ring assisted pistol squats. Again, make sure you do both sides. Roll them up a little further and we're going to hit them with the ring pull-ups for 3 sets of 6 reps. Don't quit now. And finally, ending it off with the wall handstand for 3 sets of 20 seconds. Chapter 5. Where do we go from here? You could do this workout plan for at least 6 months. Or if you're comfortable, you can add these kind of exercises to any kind of workout plan you'd like. Go to STRIQfit.com to check out my app and multiple programs.